Hey everybody, Anthony from Lazy Baits Co. here. Today we're going to be doing something pretty awesome with this Cast and Mold Fast from Specialty Resin. So this stuff, hopefully you can see this there, has a work time of 10 minutes and a cure time of 1 hour. So what I'm going to be doing with this is making a prototype mold. So I have this wooden bait carved by Jesse from Freak Baits. Big shout out to him. Thanks for doing this because I can't carve. So I really appreciate that. So I want to take this wooden bait and be able to cast a resin version. So the reason I want to do that is because I want to dial this bait in. I want to see where I'm going to need to put the weight, where I'm going to need to put the screw eye, for the line tie, the hook hanger, so it doesn't interfere, and I don't want to ruin this wooden version. Also, this wood is very buoyant, so even if I were to dial this in, it might not be one-to-one when I try to make a resin version of it. So we're going to make a prototype mold in under an hour, and we're gonna have a resin bait in 90 minutes. So let's get right into it. Okay, so we got our SRC Cast and Mold Fast and our FabriCast 50. This is my go-to for any resin baits. It's got crazy low viscosity and just the finish is super smooth and rock hard. Some of the stuff we're gonna need for this, we got gloves, we got a little mixer, we got something to mix in, we got a cup, our bait, and something to hold it. So this mold is going to be very crude, which I'm not concerned about because I will make a final production version of this down the line. This is just to make a resin version today in a couple hours. So what we're going to do here is, let's get our gloves on and start playing with this stuff. This is my first time using it, so it's pretty cool. My plan is to just use this cup and suspend this bait in the cup, if I can get this up. So I'm just gonna hang that in there just like that, and then I'm gonna pour the silicone over it. So I'm gonna get the resin out of the way for now. Let's make some space here. I got this mixing cup. This is for that's for the resin. Let me get something to mix the silicone in. Okay, I got my cup. Also got these from SRC. All right, let's try it out. I'm gonna spray some mold release in there. And this isn't gonna be fancy. Crazy mess. Yeah, so like I was saying before I started making all that noise, this isn't supposed to be super fancy. It's just to make a resin version of it. So the mold can really look like a cup and it'd be perfectly fine. So I don't know, should I start a timer on the screen? Let's start a timer up on the screen and see how long this takes. My goal is 90 minutes from pouring to demolding a resin bait. So it's kind of a challenge video. So let's start that timer. So we got 1 to 1. Pretty simple. We're gonna need a scale. We got that here. Let's Pour that down. Let's get this open. Notice that SRC started using these containers, which is pretty nice because I don't know if they thought about it, but it seconds as a mixing container when it's all done. There we go. Got that side open. Let's pour some in here. For the part B, so I did 260 grams, so we'll do another 260 of the part B. Okay, let's move that off to the side. And I'm not even going to put this in a vacuum chamber because I'm not concerned with air bubbles. Let's get the scale out of the way. It's kind of a speed run to a resin bait. So we'll mix this up. All right, that's mixed up. Let's get to pouring. Yeah, I was kind of worried about this floating in there. But let's see if we can push it down. I might have to throw something on top of it to keep it from floating up. Yeah, so this is the problem with prototyping a wooden bait that you plan on making a resin one out of. It's way more buoyant. So what I'm going to do is get something heavy to hold this in place. Let's just fill this up to the top first, let it float back up, and then I will find something. Let's find something. Perhaps this piece of wood will work. As you can see, this is my my first time trying this, so we're all learning together. Beautiful. All right, we are going to let that cure for 90 minutes and 60 minutes, and we'll be back and see what it looks like. All right, so it's been an hour. I changed my shirt because I noticed I had some severe bacon neck, so sorry for that. But that is nice and cured. That's pretty crazy. I waited exactly an hour, so that's wild. Let's see what it looks like. I got an X-Acto knife here. Let's cut this thing open. Pretty excited about this. Yeah, so I thought that might happen. So it kind of floated up against the side. It doesn't matter though. It still made a shell on there. I think I can work with that. If I had to change anything, I don't know that I would go with a red Solo cup, or if I did, I would add some type of, maybe thread a screw eye in through the bottom just to hold it straight up and down. But I think I can work with this. So let's get rid of this. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this open right down the side. I don't want to go into this thin spot. So let's go right down here. Pull this out. So there we go. We got our bait. We got our mold. It does have one little hole in the side there. I think it'll be all right. Like I said, this is it's definitely a learning process for me. This isn't something I've tried before with a wooden bait, so we'll just see how it goes. Cut the top open there a little bit, make a little bit of a sprue. What I'm going to do is get some rubber bands and I'll just put some rubber bands around it. Maybe I can cover up that one little, I don't think I can manage that. One at the bottom there. I'm going to put a tiny piece of tape over that one little hole from where it was touching the side. But I mentioned this isn't supposed to be pretty looking. We'll see how that works. It's alright if it leaks. So, we got our scale. Zeroed that out. Now it's time to break out the FabriCast 50. I keep it in a little container, so those containers are kind of empty. Let's break these open. What I'm going to do is start with some filler material. This is Sack Pig micro balloons. And gonna get my respirator on because this isn't stuff you want to be breathing in. You might not be able to hear me when I have this on, so what I'm going to do is, the resin's a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to do maybe about 30% of weight, of total weight is going to be my filler material, and then that's going to be 1-to-1. So let's do this quick. Okay, so cleaned up that mess. Definitely want to wear your PPE. You don't want the uncured resin or the micro balloons. You don't want to be breathing that in or have it all over your skin. This is still going to take a couple minutes to cure. So for the FabriCast 50, cure time is going to be 10 to 15 minutes. I'd say it's in there maybe about 5 minutes so far. I had to mix up 2 cups because my first one was a little bit of a short pour. So let's see, pull this tape off. Kind of looks like maybe it bulged out a little bit where it went close to the side. Like I said, this is kind of experimental for me right now, but overall, obviously the FabriCast 50, I love this stuff. Every one of our baits is made out of that. For the cast a mold fast, I am kind of blown away. I feel like I probably could have demolded this even a little bit sooner because it is completely cured. I went to go edit the video that I just took, set a timer for an hour, came back, and it is perfectly cured. I could see this stuff being good for like swim bait tails or pretty much anything you don't want to wait very long for a mold. And honestly, even for like a production mold, if you want to pour like 10 molds in a day instead of waiting, 8 hours in between molds, this might even be a good option for that. So maybe we'll have to try that out. But yeah, overall so far, I am pretty happy with it. Let's see if it's cured in there. It's pretty much cured. Let's demold this. And there we go. We got our resin bait. Clean this up a little bit. Cut this sprue off. Not much of a sprue. It'll probably just be sanded. But I'll take a knife and kind of carve that off. Make a nice mess. I'm gonna go hit this with some sandpaper just so it looks pretty. Alright, so there's the bait. It came out really awesome. It picked up all of the detail and the wood grain you could see, because I didn't, he sent it to me with a clear on it just to, seal it, but you could still see the wood grain in there, which is pretty awesome. So I would say I'd probably get a couple more out of this, only because it touched the side. But honestly, had I done it properly, where it was straight up and down and not touching the side, I feel like this could be used multiple times to make a bunch of baits. But that's pretty awesome. I can then, butcher it up, put some weight in it, screw eye, line tie, throw some weight and see how it does. So maybe I'll do that over on my Instagram or show this off on my YouTube channel. But yeah, thank you to Specialty Resin. Thanks for letting me try this out. I think it's awesome. I would definitely use it for prototype molds, and I am gonna try it out on some production molds. Maybe Maybe I'll do that with this bait when I figure out how I want it dialed in. But yeah, check that out. From wood to resin. I don't have the timer because it's going to be in editing, but let's see. Did we get it in under 90 minutes? I think we did. So thanks guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. It's pretty awesome. I can't stop looking at it. Wood to resin. That's crazy. Yeah. Thanks again. See you guys next time.